Hi everyone, how are you doing? And welcome back to my channel and another income report video. If you're new here, then hi, my name's Nat and this channel is primarily focused on making money with Amazon KDP, with low content books and print on demand. I know some people have had some amazing results this Q4, I've already seen some of them, but if this is your first Q4, then I hope you too found it exciting and made some of your first sales. So let me know how you did in the comments below. In this income report, I am going to cover exactly what I made in December and also all of my ad spend, but do stick around to the later part of the video because I'm going to be talking about what I think I could have done differently to improve things this Q4 and what I should do next year to improve on what I've already achieved. So I usually start my income reports by going through whether there were any surprises or unusual things that happened during the month, and there were a few things actually in December. What I noticed for one thing was that every day was very, very similar. I didn't have any huge days. I usually have sort of one day in December where there's a peak just before Christmas. For me, I don't really have that many gift books or what I would typically imagine people buy as gifts. I think one of the biggest surprises this year was that my best-selling book, which has been the bestseller over each Q4 so far, was taken over by another one of my books. So this book was actually new last Q4, and last Q4 this book made $200. This year it made nearly $2,000, so it's quite a big jump. It was a book that took me quite a long time to gain traction because it was in now what is quite a competitive niche, and I was trying to basically rival one of my best-selling books. However, this one was a different style of book, and therefore it didn't seem to actually take sales away from my best-selling one. So my best-selling book last year made around $2,000 in December, and it made $2,000 this December. In my very first Q4, this book made up nearly 50% of all my royalties for that December. And this year it's much, much less. So I quite like, spreading the royalties around over several books rather than having them all in one or two books. And that's another reason why I do suggest creating more than one or two books in a niche, because there are so many different types of buyers within a niche. So you can look into different subsets, different styles, or, whether it's male or female. Obviously, some certain styles are going to appeal more to boys, others are going to appeal more to girls, and so on. So if you can come up with different types of design or different styles of book that could appeal to these different people, then you can still create multiple books within a niche and actually not really be competing with yourself at all, because you're actually targeting a different portion of the market. So I'm now going to show you my results for December. So in December I made £10,834 and my highest day was $519, the lowest at $38, and obviously no sales on Christmas Day. But as you can see, throughout a lot of the month it was really stable, obviously tailing off a bit and then coming back during the Christmas period. So I'm just going to show you in comparison December 2021. So by contrast, in December 2021 I made $8,700, so around $2,000 difference. I don't have a huge amount more books this year, so it's only on a few that are new that have kind of made the difference, really. So the top marketplace in December was the UK at 46%, the US at 40%, Canada at 9.81%, and Australia at 1.58%. I have one book that seems to have taken off, particularly in Australia. Really, I don't know why, but that happened during Q4, and it sells quite a fair amount of copies. However, the royalties that I'm getting are really low, so I need to kind of adjust my book price, I think. Okay, so now I'm on the Canadian ads platform, and you can see my spend in December was $341, and the ACOS was 19%, which was really good. I was really happy with that. And largely this was down to a couple of campaigns. One was on one single book, which was in a really competitive area, and I couldn't run ads to it in the US, but I managed to run ads to it in Canada, and it took off. So actually running ads to that book put it on the first page of the search results, even though it is like insanely oversaturated, this particular area. But it's in an area where there aren't that many traditionally published books, so I wasn't battling with traditionally published authors with a high budget. And also the other one that was the second best campaign was a lottery campaign, but it was a lottery campaign for books that were in the same niche. And that really did well in December as well. So in the US, I didn't spend very much on ads at all. I only spent $108, and the ACOS was 21%, which is absolutely fine. I think towards the end of Q4, I just had some campaigns that weren't working that well, and I had lowered the bids, and so I just didn't spend as much because the bids were not high enough for some of the ads. Most of the ad spend went to one particular ad, which spent around $70, and the ACOS was 19%. And that was a group ad as well, with a lot of books from one niche. And then in the UK, I spent £156, and the ACOS was 21% again, which is again fine. And in this particular case, my best performing ad here as well was again a lotto campaign, but it was a lotto campaign for books in the same niche again, and I believe I spent nearly £100 on that, so it was a good bulk of the whole ad spend for the month. So in total in December, I spent $545. That's in US dollars once I've exchanged the currencies, and then I do pay 20% VAT on top of that in the UK. So that brings the total to $654, which is really nice because it's not very much off of the total amount that I made in December. So my royalties were around 10,834. Then I need to take off the expenses and the tools, and that comes to around $10,079, which is really amazing. I'm really happy with that. And I'm also really pleased that this one book that I really struggled to promote initially is doing really well, and in fact is on a par with the other best-selling book that I have at the moment. So now I just want to talk about some things that I probably could have done to make Q4 better this year than it was. Obviously, I am over the moon with how much I've made in December. I'm really pleased with it. And it also means I've reached a milestone of earning over $10,000 in a month, which I've never actually reached before online. So although I do have some other bits and bobs that make some money as well, KDP is my primary income stream. So to make that much money in a month is a huge milestone for me. However, I definitely could have done more to improve things. So the first thing is pretty obvious, which is I could have created more books for Q4 in specific. I know I didn't make that many books over the year, but I didn't really make any specifically to Q4, and that was something I really wanted to do throughout the whole year. I also wanted to do some dated planners, and I didn't do any dated planners. So it's just something I don't like doing because it's quite boring. Most of the planners that I have are all undated, which is great because you can sell them any time of year. But you can really have some good sellers with some planners if they take off. And that can just boost up your overall Q4 sales. So the other thing is I could have ran more ad campaigns. To spend $600 in December and for that even to be even less than in November, I definitely could have ramped up some ad campaigns before December and had some more for different books that I have. So I have a huge amount of books still that don't have any A+ content, and for the most part, I've left it because they do still have the look inside feature. But then again, because so many competitors now are trying to do A+ content, if a customer sees a book on their phone where they can't see the look inside feature anyway, and then they see the interior and other aspects of the book, it's going to look more appealing, and they're probably going to buy that book rather than yours. So what I've been doing is every new book that I've created, I've done A+ content, but I just haven't gone through many of the older books. I do have it on this new book that became my bestseller this year. I definitely think that helped to improve the overall sales, so it's something I'm going to have to take the time with. It is kind of monotonous to go back and do these things. It is a bit of a trial, but you've got to make time for it. Another thing I could have done is created more books in hardcover. So I've only been going through a couple of books so far and adding hardcover options. And I was amazed that the first time I did it, I actually had some hardcover sales in that month. It was the first book that I'd done it on. And I didn't even expect that someone would buy it at all. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and do that. Again, it's a bit of a monotonous task. So another thing I could have done was to create some medium and high content books. That is yet again something I really want to do in 2023. So although there is more that I could have done, I definitely did learn some lessons in Q4 as well. But what I'm going to do is leave those to another video. So I'll dedicate another video to talking about some of the things that did work in Q4 for me, and maybe that can be a benefit to you as well. And of course, I just want to take this opportunity to wish you all a happy new year if you are watching this in the new year and not kind of into the distant future. So I always really enjoy this opportunity in January to rethink things and get motivated again about things I want to do. And there's so much I want to do, so I'm going to have to rein it in a little bit. So I really want to try and be focused and put time into the key things that I want to do. I hope you're having a great start to January and getting plenty done for your KDP or print on demand business. So I'll leave it there for today, and thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you again very soon.